Hi, I'm Daniel, I'm a sleep physician, and if you have insomnia, this channel is for you. Mark has an unexplained health issue and has had trouble sleeping for about 10 days. He's wondering what's going on and is already taking some measures to improve his sleep. We're going to see that he is in the perfect storm for developing chronic insomnia and what Mark and anybody else in that situation should do to avoid that from ever happening. Hi there, it's Friday today. Hope you're doing really well and that you'll have a really nice weekend. Really important things to share here in regards to what's going on with Mark. Alex, I have something for you as well. And before we go along here, as you may have noted, we have gotten to almost 300 episodes here, including the podcast episodes, which makes this channel a little hard to navigate. So I've started doing playlists. I'm planning to do more, but in this description, I'm going to share a playlist with what I call like the core curriculum, kind of the most, in my opinion, the most important 34, I think, became episodes. And also one with just success stories that has 7 of them. There's been many more that have been doing well, but these are the ones that like really got past their insomnia, had something important to share. So that's the one. And I plan to do a playlist on like these kind of hypnotic jerks, a playlist for those people that are concerned about SFI, FFI, and many and more as well. So hope you'll find that helpful. So that said, let's read this comment. And this is a comment on episode pod 50, but I believe from yesterday, and this is Mark writing as follows. Hi, since the last 10 days or so, despite going to bed at an hour that would allow me to sleep 8 hours straight and fall asleep within minutes, I wake up as if an alarm clock rings between 4 and 5 a.m. And when I wake up, I feel like I'm wide awake, like ready to start the day. But I try to sleep and then I get into this weird state of half dreaming, half being awake. I have some finger jerks when trying to fall asleep again, like my index finger taps for no reason. I also have a lot of muscle twitching in my face, like my eyelids, chin, etc. I get some arthritis type of pain in my back and ribs. A lot of joint pains and muscle pains all over my body. My whole story actually goes back 1 full year with a weird acute start after an operation, falling, which I had 2 months of extreme night sweats, weight loss, despite tons of tests, brain scan, MRI, MRA, cervical abdominal MRI, thorax CT, abdomen test, tumor markers, 24 urinalysis. It is still an unsolved case, except it seems very similar to the alleged Lyme disease, and I tested positive on an ELISpot test. I can share if you are interested. And I said that I would make this episode, and then in fact, as I was read this, I was thinking this is, the typical story of how insomnia starts, and it's important, like, what we're going to talk more here about. It's important not to kind of like try to figure it out, and etc. I paid so much attention, and then Mark quickly replied to me saying, "Thanks very much for your response. In the meantime, I realized I took a heavy dose of vitamin D3 slash calciferol exactly 10 days ago. Following that, my sleep issue started. Could it be somehow related to that?" So this is the perfect storm. We have a kind of underlying health issue, health concern, and now sleep has begun to be affected. And also Mark is becoming concerned about sleep. Mark is kind of trying to figure out why he's not sleeping well. Mark is allotting 8 hours in bed to allow himself to sleep for a full 8 hours, which we're always told that we should do. So what is going on here? Well, the root cause for really all insomnia is hyperarousal. It is that state where your brain is kind of like super active, high alert. You may notice that yourself. You may have this kind of heightened energy. I can't nap. I'm always like wide awake. I feel that tension, the electricity almost. Or you may not feel that at all. It may be there, but it's kind of like on a subconscious level. But that hyperarousal is really almost always what causes insomnia. And it can manifest in many ways. Hyperarousal can cause a range of symptoms typically twitching, weird aches, soreness, jerks, what else? Oh, waking up wide awake, kind of that electric jolt, and these type of like neurologically similar to neurological symptoms. So what it sounds like to me, Mark, and anybody else in this situation is that there is some hyperarousal going on. Like, you know, it is kind of causing you to have trouble sleeping, waking up wide awake, these kind of twitches and things like that. Now, but here is the most important part. Insomnia starts like this. It starts with like a couple of sleepless nights or not sleeping well. But that is not the problem. The problem is the reaction to that. When someone starts identifying, okay, I got a problem sleeping, I got to figure out why, and I got to do something about it, that's when the real trouble begins, because we're now giving insomnia attention. The more attention you give the insomnia, the stronger it becomes. When you start thinking about like, why do I have trouble sleeping? Was it this? Was it that? That's attention giving to it, and kind of the problem grows. And we start like, and let me try this, let me try that. You're also giving it more attention. That is the path. Like the more attention it gets, the more you try, the more preoccupied you get, the more hyperaroused you become, the more anticipatory problems and anxiety, and the more insomnia. And then that just feeds and feeds and feeds itself until you've gone like years, even decades with insomnia, and developed all kind of beliefs, superstitions, like rituals and that type of thing. So in somebody like Mark's case, try not to try to figure it out. Number one, try not to react to it. Try not to do anything to sleep better. Try to spend a little less time in bed. That's a good one. But other than that, try not to react to it, and things will go back to the way they were before. Super important for anyone in Mark's in similar situation to Mark. Hope this was helpful, Mark, and please come back with more questions if you have such. And I promised Alex I would comment on another comment on the same episode pod 50. And thanks so much, Alex. I think you're new to the channel, so big welcome to you, and Mark as well. Yeah, I think you're both are new. Do you believe insomnia is something that a person has to strategically deal with all their life, or do you think it's possible for them to reach a point where sleep becomes completely natural without resurfacing issues? Also, when you mentioned brain damage, I got scared by a famous article on sleep deprivation in mice that had 25% of their brain cells die. Do you think that's not relevant to humans? The last question, yeah, I totally don't think that's relevant to humans. Not at all. There's absolutely no evidence for that. Imagine like 20% of adults have insomnia, and there's no way anywhere, any of those people have any evidence of brain damage. No. Now, the former question there. No, I do not believe that insomnia is something you just have to accept and live with. There are many things you can do to sleep better, and that's what I always talk about on this channel. And by the way, that playlist I mentioned about like the core curriculum, I think that's a great place to start. Now, some of us are like kind of good sleepers at baseline. Some of us are a little bit more restless sleepers. We will have maybe not quite as good sleep at baseline. So we all have a baseline. I believe that. Not all of us will sleep like a solid 7 hours, feel refreshed every day, but everyone can get a place where they're like not worried about sleep good or pretty good all the time. And just like sleep is not a thing for them, not an issue for them. Absolutely. So hope this was helpful, and everyone has a good weekend. And if the videos here are all you need to sleep good, fantastic. If you have an iPhone and you feel like you need a little more like hand holding, kind of a curated roadmap, then please check out my app, Bedtime with the Y, on the App Store. If you have an Android phone, then it will come in maybe 3 to 4 months or so. And I hope you don't need it at that time, but just want to mention that. So that's it again. I hope everyone has a nice weekend, and I shall be back with Monday. And by the way, if you watch this over the weekend and you have questions, please email me, daniel@insomniainsight.co, or leave a comment. And Monday, I will reply to every comment or question that has come in over the weekend. That said, bye-bye.